Can I record two things at once? Horses and circles. That's a pain in the ass. I don't know what I would want. Does that have an effect? I don't even know anymore.
No, it does.
Right.
It does. That works.
Okay.
Yeah, stop there.
Something there.
For like the way I'm visualizing it. Why did we talk about horses in the first place?
A pain in the ass. I don't know what I would want. Does that have an effect? I don't even know anymore.
No, it does.
Right.
It does. But not. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, stop there.
Something there.
Directed at anything in particular, but the sense of like we are part of like this bigger
Horses.
that I think what we are doing is that, and we will stand our ground.
So each step of the horse is like a painting.
It's always like a side profile image that we usually think of for horses. How do horses like have so much control?
Because like when you make these artifacts, the artifact, once you look back, is now suddenly a part of the wheel. It's a single concrete thing, part of a million other single concrete things.
Like this is literally zero, you know? Yeah.
But I think like,
guess
the
now
art,
that
pieces
like
of art being
really
like
become about
permanent,
horses.
especially like when you said it, I hadn't thought about it, but like this is already that. Like a Zoom call, a recording is already that. We're part of painting now. This is painting.
That resonates with me about like.
I wish there were horses around. Like that would be great.
I know.
I guess
Can
like
see
horses.
horses?
There's a horse.
There's a horse. Woo! Horses and cycles.
This is fun. This is good. I'm having a good time.
Great.
This is all
Oh my
stolen.
god, yes. Juice is flowing.
A horse in a circle.
But not. I don't know. Raw horse.
Can I record? Hey, that's the best part. If you can't draw a horse, then this is the perfect time to learn. I don't know what that question would serve if I could answer it for you.
About like
exactly how we talked about it last time. What would that serve? When you
Yeah.
make one point on a line is a point. It's like this has never happened before. This is unlike everything because it's by itself. It's unique. And then you look back, it's like a wheel. Because it's like each time it's doing like a permanent thing that is permanent for the moment, and then it's part of the cycle. It's part of the gallop. It's just one of, and in that moment it's the one thing and it exists. But it's always in context of before
that I
it,
think
and it becomes part of them when you
what
look
we are
back at the
doing
next steps.
is that, and we will stand our ground.
The point at the end of the hand of the clock must think it goes forward, even as it's pinned to its center, like a horse on a post running for miles but going nowhere.
Off to the races.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to try something a little different with this segment, a little more informative than performative. We're going to go over a brief history of time. So, what is time and when will it end? Well, let's start at the beginning of time. When did man first start thinking and recording time? Well, the first documented device is a row of pits in eastern Scotland that resembled the phases of the moon, and they line up. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Hi, Bro Derek. My name is
Broderick.
Marley. I'm really enjoying the program so far, but I would love to add to the conversation.
Well, it's more of a presentation.
You see, I happen to be kind of an expert on the subject matter, and I really think your audience might appreciate what I have to offer. Just to give you some background information about me, I'm a guest professor of cosmology at Naropa University, and I I just recently published a research paper called Australian Aboriginal Concepts of Time.
Okay.
I just wanted to point out that you saying, let's start at the beginning of time, is a problematic statement. I mean, what do you propose was before there was time? Just space?
Well, there are many different theories about what was before the beginning, or if there was a beginning.
You should know that even Einstein said that time by itself and space by itself are doomed to fade away into mere shadows, and only a kind of union will preserve an independent reality. I just want to make sure we don't get onto the wrong track here. That's all. Please, carry on.
Einstein. Yes, I was going to talk about Einstein, some of his other theories that are favorites of mine, like EPR equals ER, and how these two could be working in tandem to create the very fabric of space and time. So yes, like Einstein, time is relative, but it also has to be in a quantifiable reality.
Hold on. This issue happens to be very close to my heart. I honestly have a problem with you presenting this idea of a quantifiable reality. What about the inherent understanding by many different cultures that nothing is permanent and that even death is merely a passage to rebirth and renewal? I really need you to consider the concept of time as circular.
Mathematically, the second was determined to be 1/86/400ths of a day, but later it was codified into being over 9 billion vibrations of the isotope cesium.
You're obviously holding on to this idea of a master clock of the universe. You cannot quantify infinity.
Entropy exists. You will die. There is radioactive decay.
You know what? Let me just show you this video. That's easier.
No, wait. I don't think you can show. Wait, attendees can't show. Sam, she can't show her video, can she?
Here we go.
No. Okay, that was something, but I have my own video to show, so just let me get that up and going.
Well, I guess you're looking at time from a micro perspective. I'm thinking macro. Well, maybe you have to have both.
Huh. Okay, I see what you're saying. We can only see from our small perspective. And who's to say that time isn't repeating?
So even if time is infinite and circular, the only way we can live together in a functioning society is by following some kind of a linear structure. Otherwise, it would be complete chaos.
We really have no idea what time is, do we?
We really don't.
Oh, that's all the time we have.
It all starts with making something. big ask from nothing. What fruit can you pull without a tree? Drawing water without a well? Good luck. Here. So that means there's somewhere else. But it might just be a before so far erased you can barely catch its traces on the windshield, a smiling face framed by the rain. But you can loop backwards and break your fall, tumbling back through t-ball games and your first sip of Diet Coke, and friends you lost and places you won, but only because of momentum you got when you were launched out at birth, head over heels, awkward first steps into backyards, and you got alive, launched out at birth, head over heels, awkward first steps into backyards of the then alive, up the avocado tree, now you got patch, launched out at birth, head over heels, awkward first steps into backyards, head over heels, awkward first steps into backyards of the then alive, the avocado tree, now a zucchini patch, the grill out back, the road out front smooth, slowly cracking from tree roots, reaching farther than bargained for, the road out misery painted rosy, or maybe tree rosy, back, failed, misunderstanding, misery out rosy, or farther bargained failed, misery painted rosy, or maybe out rosy, failed, as misunderstanding, avocado tree, now a zucchini patch, rosy. The colors of pressed eyelids, too tightly drawn. Where does that pressure go? Spanked first gasps through fluorescent burns. Not to pop like a pair of grapes into the brine. Like trying to push your tongue through your teeth, but like in a dream you manage and find the other side. Pushing past the pale, drawn so tight as to ring like a drum when you pop through. Hot water of your brain drains down to the hole at the base of your skull. Clockwise, as it follows the body in rosy, clammy rush, and ossifies into something, but where's to say that that's good? To lose your back bend and your knots, to sturdiness and solidity. The bow of a ship made out of the waves it shaves away. Too close. It clips, slips. It clips. But what does water bleed? Pulls, a sucking vacuum to fill an empty stage, to be out the first of zero, demands the open space. The earth below you will accept your steps, the stone you're carving, the air you're breathing, the moments you're marking, your steps the second hand borrowed to mark your march. A language carved deep in the tongue and its shapes to call the hours their names. The days of the weeks as dead observations born out of other times. Your conditioning, like the air, dissipating into the hole in the ozone as you make your life forever forward. A closed door can be a comfort for a while, but the hard shell is just like that, to keep the water from the air and vice versa.
It was sunny and kind of warm, kind of sucked in and out of like a world.
And it just all hit me at once that I had been there years before.
What do you remember? All responses will be timed, recorded, and evaluated for authenticity and cognitive dissonance. Any discrepancies will eliminate you from further trials. Now, in the survey, you mentioned that it was difficult for you to recall certain events without the mention of specific triggers. When asked to list some of those triggers, you said cars rushing past, footsteps, the sun beating down on a city street. Do those words call anything to mind? That doesn't mean anything to you? No, you haven't been here before. We can only interview each subject once, otherwise it diminishes the results of the test. Okay. Let's move on.
You kind of feel like slow, like glycerin.
And having the exact same thought process of, oh, that's an odd place to put lotto tickets.
It's one of those little tiny threading salons that's just, it looks too small to be an actual shop.
October 24th. October 24th. Does that date hold any significance? Any significance for you? It's just random, that's all. Just random.
But I, already knew where everything was going to be.
The subjects were chosen based on their relationship with memory. We were looking for abnormalities. People who remembered too much or too little. People who remembered too much or too little. People who remembered things that had never really happened.
It's like we live inside a dream, but who is the dreamer?
I already said you hadn't been here before. Is something here familiar? You don't know. Well, try to remember if you can. No, you haven't been here before. Cars rushing past. We can only interview each test subject once.
It's just kind of a cold, creepy concept, in my opinion.
Oh, no, it's just random. That's all. Completely just random. People who remembered too much? No, you haven't been here before. Subjects being able to recall the materials of the test would negatively affect our research.
We live inside a dream, but who is the dreamer?
And it just all hit me at once that I had been there years before.
So, what do you remember?
Bye.